Hello everyone, today we're back with a Floodgate 15 as a Shadowpan Brewmaster Monk in the War Within Season 3. So because they've made changes, they've eliminated bubbles, and they changed some of the blood warpers, this is a new route that I'm running. As you can see, everything kind of flows pretty nicely. The only pool that's a bit hectic is number 6, but you'll get the hang of it. And this is the gear that I have, 718 item level, and my talent. Shadow Pan, basic, nothing different. So here, since again, I hate Shadow Pan, right? I hate it. I love Master of Harmony. I've been playing it since season 1. Here, for this initial pull, you will see that I mess up the pull because um, I kind of lost threat there for a little bit, and then we have the Undercrawler. And in my attempt to go get some threat on it, I pull everything away from this shredder, and we lose a lot of AoE damage, right? So there I'm getting a little bit low. I'm just barely hitting 10 million. I know really good brewmasters here would probably be at around like 18 million or something. Trying to dispel my healer from the poison from the Undercrawler. Here we have these loader bots doing the windup. I'm pretty sure that we had enough AoE CC to make sure that that didn't go off. We had warrior shockwave still, and the hunter's knockup or even blasting them away would have helped. But a pretty decent pool, a decent pool. I wasn't in too much danger. I didn't really need to use a major defensive, though I would recommend using at least fortifying brew. But other than that, it was pretty good. I think I peaked at around 11 million DPS. And then these pulls are pretty standard, right? Here, you want to get all 3 of these crabs in the first pull. You are gonna need a defensive here because those crabs hurt, and then these hyenas using their blood howl or whatever it's called. There you go, bloodthirsty cackle. They boost each other's attack speed up, and it hurts, right? So here, just one note is that the surveyor's all the way back there. The healer could have interrupted it so it could run in sooner. But imagine because we're taking so much damage, they couldn't do it. And here the hunter pets pulled all of these snipers. So that's one of the problems I've seen. It's that pet pathing here is horrible, right? Um, I've seen it happen with warlock, with pets. I've seen it happen with hunter pets here, as you just saw. The pets just ran down the stairs and pulled the snipers. So something to be mindful of. I had to use the defensive here just to make sure that I could handle all of this. Um, these snipers are chipping away at everyone, right? So now this is getting a little bit chaotic, and we're running out of AoE crowd control. But luckily the DPS is pretty good, and we managed to get everything down pretty fast, I want to say, considering the fact that it was probably an over 10 mob pull. Just making sure we finish off these snipers before we head to the architect, because they are ranged damage dealers, so they will start chipping away at everyone. There, I'm just checking the healing. As you can see, he really kept up. The healer was working overtime, right? Now, for this pull, we don't need those loader bots on the right. Um, you can pull them if you want, but in exchange for not pulling them, we're gonna pull crabs, as you can see later on. So I'm just letting them know, like, he's pinging me if we're gonna get those. We don't need those, right? We don't. So here we have the architect here, still a bit high. We're killing it with these divers just so we can get some funnel into it. But 4 targets is not enough, right? So just pull in some of the other divers. You don't need to do this just because of the fact that everybody has to pay attention to the harpoons there. Um, I might need to get a new player profile. I've noticed that in this season, I don't know why, but I have such a hard time clicking on the mobs to target for interrupts. And some of my interrupts are like they're not good. Like, I'll interrupt the wrong mob, and it's really driving me crazy. I need to figure out what to do.
Watch your
Might go
step.
download Quasi Splater Pack or something.
Watch your step.
But this is a pretty standard pull here. What you want to do, if it's
Watch your
a little
step.
bit hectic, is just move along the perimeter of this little platform area. Just so that when
Watch
they
your
drop the
step.
bombs, they drop them along the perimeter and not in the middle of the room, right?
Watch your step.
Because as you can see on the left side, the healer's just standing there.
Watch your
He's
step.
chilling. He's healing without having to worry about moving around for a bomb. Well,
Watch your
unlucky
step.
there. He kind of did. And then the other thing is, so since this architect is still up, he'll build his scaffolding on top of some of these Seaphorium
Watch your step.
bombs, and the melee DPS won't see them, and they'll run into them, and they'll blow up, right? So again, that's kind of where you want to kite them around, making sure you interrupt the divers. They're I'm not even sure how the hunter died, honestly, but it must have been a bomb, right? And again, for this pool, just pull these two, bring them all together.
Watch your step.
This surveyor, I took, I think it's called Clash. It's a pseudo grip essentially, right? Like you can use it to drag a mob towards you a little bit. The only problem is that you should pay attention to
Watch your
not
step.
ring a piecing it when you've used Clash because it roots it, right? And since it
Watch
roots
your
it,
step.
it doesn't allow the ring to bounce it off. Once the root breaks, if the mob is still standing on it, there's a small chance that it'll bug and like it won't knock it towards you. The mob will just run through the ring of peace. I don't know, it's weird. I've seen it happen a couple of times. So I'm still kind of getting used to it as well. But
Watch
it's
your
nice to
step.
have. In the next video that I'll upload will probably be a
Watch your step.
16-hour Kara where you see how using Clash to pull in some of the casters is really helpful as long as interrupting.
Grandpa.
The
Watch your
DPS
step.
is pretty good. The poor hunter died, so they missed out on a lot of this fight, so can't really
Watch your step.
hold it against them. Beastmasters actually took a bit of a hit this week. I don't know how much of a DPS loss it is, but compared to Frost Death Knights, I feel like Frost Death Knights took a bigger hit. I don't know why. Alright, so for this fight, I would say you should prioritize Braun, right, as a tank.
Defensive.
Everybody else is going to be pounding into Quick Fuse, so just DPSing Braun is pretty helpful. You can use Exploding Keg for when he does that wallop on you, it helps. And the fight is pretty
Defensive.
straightforward, right? Like, everybody knows to make sure to
Grandpa.
not stand next to him when he does his charge because you'll get stunned. And to line him up with any of the bombs that are left over, right? I normally just pay attention after it says charge on me. So I'll put it right there and it'll go all the way to the end.
Defensive.
If you have hasty provocations, it really helps a lot here for when Quick Fuse jumps around.
Grandpa.
It just means that he'll run faster towards Quick Fuse. So it keeps the cleave up, right? My single target DPS is horrendous. I'll be honest with you. I've seen other videos
Defensive.
where like Monksy is doing 3.5 million damage, 4 million on these bosses. I'm only doing like 2.5. It's a bit sad, but yeah, here's what it is.
Target. Defensive.
So if you guys remember season 2, I posted a video where I died on these boxes because I was looking at my map. I think the same thing happened to our healer. He stood within the range of the boxes. There I'm pinging them to run that way because they have pets and those pets will aggro these loader bots because they path weird, so I didn't want to risk it. Hunter still went that way. It's fine. Here I'm pulling all of the
Watch
stuff.
your
So
step.
you want to gather all of this stuff, and the easy way to do it would be to kill this demolitionist first, right? You kill the
Grandpa.
demolitionist first, and then you pull it into the next pack of double demolitionists. Um, One thing that's crucial here, especially in these hierarchies, is don't do what I just did there, which was
Grandpa.
um those soldiers leave a
Grandpa.
stacking debuff on you, right? It's a stacking magic debuff. Um, I cleansed it at 3. You could probably
Grandpa.
hold off and cleanse it up at higher counts. I would say roughly like
Grandpa.
around 6. But anything after that is pretty much unlivable, right? As you're gonna see in a little
Grandpa.
bit, like I start to take a lot of
Watch
damage,
your
right? I'm
step.
at 5 and I'm still okay. I'm at
Watch
6
your
and
step.
that's where it really starts to take 7. Luckily I got cleansed there, but it was starting to really ramp up. You can use your diffuse magic
Watch your step.
to remove the effect. I'm not sure
Watch your
if
step.
it'll reflect it back to the soldiers, but just keep that in mind that you
Grandpa.
should probably use diffuse magic at 6 stacks when you do these kinds of pulls with multiple
Grandpa.
soldiers. The big pain in the neck
Watch
here
your
is
step.
these inspectors, but other than that, everything is pretty straightforward again.
Watch your step. Watch your step.
Something that I like to do here is I like to pull this pack, double hyena, double soldiers, into the boss, right? Um, Unluckily I procced flurry strikes there, but it is what it is, right? So I still have a couple of time to wait, about a minute
Defensive.
before I can get weapons of order up again. But here, for, what you want to do is you want to pick these little corners to tank all the stuff in, and the reason for that is one, all of the ads stack up nicely, right? As you can see here, we have all of these stacked up together.
Defensive.
I just have to make sure that I'm the one who's not getting destroyed, right? But again, as a brewmaster, this isn't too hard to handle. For example, there I have 6 purifying cheese. If I use celestial infusion, I'll have a full 13 million absorb, right? So that's fine. That's good enough
Defensive.
for the tank buster there. As you can see, my health barely moved. My shield took most of the brunt of that damage. I probably dodged it actually. And then here, weapons of order into our damage phase, right? So something that I do, which I'm pretty sure is not correct, is I'm spamming
Kill
spinning
Gigad.
crane kick just to get the most amount of I forget what it's called for Shadow Pan, but the stacks to proc
Defensive.
flurry strikes, right? So since Keg Smash is on cooldown, Tiger's Palm also gives very small amount. I try to spam spinning crane kick. That's probably not the smartest thing to do, but I try to get as many procs off as I
Defensive.
can during my weapons of order. There I had the healer pull down those 2 soldiers on the top, and again, as long as the healer can dispel the debuff on you, you'll be fine. Here I panicked a little bit, but again, I had a purifying brew, so I knew I could heal off a good amount. My stagger was stacking a little bit, but I was okay.
Defensive.
Again, you want to have a decent amount of stagger because it increases your attack power. As you can see on the bottom left next to my chat,
Kill
I
out.
have my mastery. My mastery is somewhere around 42% when I have red stagger. So that's roughly about a 20%, 15% sometimes. Depends. That's extra attack power
Kill
that
Gigad.
goes into your celestial infusion, that goes into your damaging abilities. So you wanna have that, right? And again, part of the reason why we tank these in corners is because you can stack all of these like
Defensive.
tightly, right? So you just go to corner as long as everybody's standing within the area of the stairs, you'll be fine, right? Because you can drag the sonic boom either to the left like he did there, or probably to the north where the healer is spamming his lava burst from. Makes it a lot easier.
Defensive.
instead of everybody standing in the middle, which means that all of these mecha drones are starting to scatter everywhere, and it means less AoE DPS on them, right?
Defensive.
And now for everyone's least favorite pool in this dungeon, or one of two, right? The only reason I don't like this one is because there's a lot going on here, right? So one, getting this blood warper,
Watch your step.
then trying to drag these. What I used to do was drop my Blackhawk statue and just AoE taunt them. I don't know why I didn't do that here. It just scattered everyone, right? And we don't want everybody to be scattered. We want them all to be together because it's an easy way to cleave them, right? There I'm throwing like heals on our healer because I want to make sure that he doesn't die.
Watch your step.
And we have to worry about the demolitionist over there trying to shoot these swirls at everyone. So again, there I used my clash to bring him in a little bit closer. So you can see like it wasn't that much of a big move, but still it's something that helps, right? Especially because I interrupted him apart from the fact that I pulled him in a little bit closer.
Watch your step.
And then we just cleared this. Now for the next pull that people hate, and I can't really blame them, it's these kelps, man. These kelps are so annoying to deal with. Um, Especially in pugs, just because you can't. There's just no way to coordinate the AoE CCs, right? Like sometimes it's just difficult. Sometimes you just get lucky. It is what it is. But what definitely helps is picking out of the target that you think is the lowest or the one that you think is being targeted by the most. Um, I don't have this, but maybe you do because you might have the original keybinds. But click on one of the DPS and assist their target. So that means that you'll switch to the target that they're targeting and just DPS that, right? So I think the original keybind is F, right? So I would click on the hunter or the warrior and press F on my keyboard. And that would target their target and I would just DPS that one down, right? Because the faster one of these dies, the easier it is for everyone else to kind of survive, right? Just checking to make sure that I have the proper account. And they did. I think you only need like 79% here. Because the bottom part is all like 21. So we were over by a little bit. It's better to be over by just a little bit than to be missing a little bit. So this is pretty standard again. Swampface, same as season 2. Nothing's changed, thankfully. The only downside on Shadowpan that I am noticing is that in season 2, Master of Harmony's Cheebers would help heal during one of these phases, right? Shadowpan doesn't have that. Like Vivify, like instant Vivify is great, but it's not like a group 4 million individual heal, right? 4 million, especially in these targets who have, as you can see, they're anywhere from 14 to 18 million health. Like it's a decent chunk, right? It's about like what 30%, 20% there. Hunter died. He got caught in the wave. It happens, I guess. And again, paying attention to my single target DPS, it's not that great as Shadowpan. Like I just don't get it yet. Either I have the wrong trinkets. I need to remove my Sephorium. Probably not, because it's like best in slot for a lot of classes. Well, it was best in slot for Brewmasters last season. But I mean, I'll figure it out. Again, part of learning to be a better Brewmaster is like researching things, right? Maybe I'm doing the wrong rotation. Maybe I'm pressing buttons in the wrong order. I'm not pressing enough blackout combos with Tiger Palm. All of these things that matter at the end of the day, right? So I'll work on it.
Watch your step. Step. Defensive.
So we're on to the last stretch of the dungeon. We have roughly over what 10 minutes. You want to come here with 10 minutes at least just to be safe. They're waiting for the healer to drink a little bit before we pull this. Again, 3 soldiers. Keep an eye on your debuffs to make sure that you're not getting more than 6 stacks of theirs. There I pulled in the electrician with Clash. Moved them a little bit, but every bit counts, right? So again, there I'm already at 5 stacks. I'm taking a bit of damage. I don't have diffuse magic, so all I'm hoping for is that the healer can see it and he dispels me, right? I don't think he did because it keeps stacking and then all of a sudden it's gone. So he might have seen it. Once the electrician dies, we pull the next pack with this electrician and inspector. This is a bit janky to tank on the bridge because the inspectors can both do this, right? So one will spawn on one side and the other will spawn on the other, and they'll literally cover the whole length of the bridge, and people will die from that, right? Luckily, we didn't get that, but it's very possible. Like it can happen. So just be careful of tanking all of this stuff there. So with the electricians dead, these inspectors are almost dead. So I just decide to run up and pull the next packs. And this is pretty straightforward. Again, moving on to the last boss. Good and count. And part of the reason here why I'll tilt my camera down like that is because it helps me see a little bit better. Now for this boss, if I was on my Death Knight or Demon Hunter, I would drop my Darkness or AMZ there for the range to get in. Just because this is a lot of damage for the healer, right? If he only has to worry about healing 3 people instead of all 5, it makes it a lot easier, right? Like right there, the DPS are taking a huge chunk of damage, and I threw out some instant heals, but still, it's quite a bit, right? It's still a lot.
Defensive.
This again, easy to survive. If you don't have a defensive, what you can do is just with your stagger, just get hit and then purify it immediately, just so that you can offset some of the damage. And again, with this, you want to just make sure that you can run through these pools. They don't do anything to you, as long as there's not electrified. Like you'll be fine, right? Here, I just tank them up against this instead of the wall, instead of the stairs. Sorry, just because I wasn't so sure if I'd have time to get to the ramp. Poor Hunter there was having a rough time. But in the healer's defense, the Hunter didn't use turtle right there, right? He probably could have turtled the zap, but it is what it is, right? Anyways, as I was saying, I didn't go to the ramp there because I thought that my spark wasn't gonna get a puddle of water to land in, and I did not want to get stunned. Though I do have the human racial, probably helps out a lot. That's 15 Floodgate. It's probably the equivalent of like a 12 or a 13 last season. But yeah, 3200 IO. Again, I haven't been pushing because I've been gearing up other tanks for this guild that I'm raiding it, and it's been a bit of a headache. But I'll focus more on my Brewmaster now. 4.99 million overall. It probably could have been closer to like 5.5, maybe even 5.7. Again, something that I need to work on. And no surprise here on this damage breakdown. And again, on my healing, everything's pretty normal. So that's Floodgate. Keep an eye out for the next video. It'll be a 15 or 16. Also, 360 of my transmog. Bye.